Now we are starting on Chapter 6, Advanced Report Techniques. We will get to do a lot of work in the design view of your reports. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and open up Access. And once again, I'm going to open up the last chapter's Bavant, and I will save it as this chapter's Bavant just to be safe. So I'm opening that up and then doing File, Save As, Save Database As, Save As. And then I'll go to my Dropbox, Access, and Work. And since I haven't made a Chapter 6 folder, I will do so. And I'm also going to take the 5 off the end of mine and change it to 6. Put it into my Chapter 6 folder and hit Save. Then Enable Content if yours has that also. Now, the next thing we will need to do is, if you'll look at page 334 and page 335, there's a lot of information there that you will be using here in just a second. So kind of stick your finger in there and then flip over to page 336. Now, the first thing we need to do is close our navigation pane and then click on our Create tab. And we're going to create a table in Design View. So Create, and we want to go to Table Design. And the first thing we want to add in is the stuff on the previous page in table 6.1a. So turn the page. On page 334, you'll see the table of information that you want to put in. So the first one is seminar code, and that is going to be a short text, and the field size is 3. So come down the field size. I do check that. And we're going to write a comment. So we want to come in here, and in the description we're going to write primary key. Alright, then the next one is seminar description. That is also short text, and the field size is 50. Alright, and next is hours. That is going to be number, and I just type the N and hit tab and it automatically goes to that. And instead of long integer, we want to choose plain integer. Alright, and then lastly is increments. Number also, and integer. Alright, now turn the page, and it says to go ahead and save this as seminar. So we're going to hit save, and we're going to name this seminar, and then click OK. And it says no primary key defined. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to say yes. And since we have in our notes that our primary key here is our primary key, we are going to get rid of that. And we're going to make seminar code our primary key. Alright. So now let's try this again. There you go. And let's go ahead and close this. And now it's happy with us. So the next thing we want to do is display the Create tab. And we want to create table design. And we're going to create another table. So now we're going to look at page 335, table 6-2A. And notice that the first one is customer name, number, field size is 5. And this one is part of the primary key. And what they're going to do, you're going to learn how to make 2 fields primary keys. And then seminar code. So we're going to have 2 unique fields. That is also short text and part of our primary key. And that is 3. Then next is total hours. That's a number. And plain integer. And this one is hours spent. And that is also a number. And it is also a plain integer. And you know, you can cheat and just do it like this and type an I, and that should work also. So whatever makes you happy, that will be fine. Now for this one, we want to make both customer number and customer code primary keys. So you're going to click on the row selector for customer number, hold the shift key down, click on the row selector for seminar code, and then hit the primary key. And notice that both of them now have the primary key out to the side. So we're going to save this, and it is going to be called Seminar Offerings. And we're going to say OK and close the table. Alright, now on page 337 we're going to import the data. So number 1, with this database open, we want to go to the External Data tab, and it's in a text file this time. Remember, we're importing, so text file, and we want to go to Get External Data text file. We're going to browse to our Chapter 6 folder, and we want to get the seminar file. And since it's a text file, we don't want the Excel, correct? So make sure straight up seminar and hit open. And we want to append. That means that our table is already append a copy of the records to a specific table that we've already created, and the name of the table is going to be Seminar Table. And then we're going to say OK. Then we want to make sure that our delimited option is selected, and we'll do next. So characters such as comma or tab separate each field, and since it's a text file, that's probably what's going on. And now we want to make sure that there's a tab option. So with what delimiter separates your fields, select the appropriate one, and in this case it was a tab. So now we have our 4 columns, and then we're going to hit next. Oh, hold on. First row contains field names. See this? Seminar code, seminar description. You have to do that so you end up with a column title. Now hit next. And we are going to click the close button. So we're going to finish this. And we are not going to save our import steps, so we're going to hit close. Now, just so you can see what we did, we imported into our seminar table, correct? And voila, there's your stuff. And knowing how I am about things fitting, it would be smart to go ahead and resize now so you don't forget to do it later. And then we want to do the same thing to import information into your seminar offerings. So exactly the same thing. And I'm going to say yes, I want to save. We're going to close this. And we're going to import a text file and navigate to, we want our seminar offerings. And then we are going to choose open, and we're going to append it and to our seminar offerings table. Say OK. And noted delimited characters such as, so we want to make sure that the comma option will be selected. So we're going to do next, and this time it's comma. We also want to put in our first row contains field names. There you go. And then we will choose next. And seminar offering is what we are hooking it up to. We will hit finish, and we are not saving our import steps. Excellent. So now we'll come to our seminar offerings, and there's all the stuff we just imported. Let's go ahead and resize the table so that it looks professional right now. You can close it and save it. Excellent. Now turn in the page. On page 338, we are going to make the new tables friends. We're going to hook them together. So the first thing you want to do is go to your database tools, and notice everything's closed. So we're at our database tools, and we wanted to go to our relationships, and right now we have book rep and customer tables. So we need to add in our two new tables. So we're going to add in seminar and seminar offerings and close. Alright, make sure that you can see everything. And now notice that we have the book rep number hooking up the book rep number in customer. Now we want to hook our customer number to our customer number in our customer table. So we can rearrange these if you'd like. Grabbing by the title, you can put it down below, or you can put it side by side, whatever works good for you. So we're going to grab this customer number, and notice in the book that this one has the many or the infinite, and this one has the one. So we're going to drag from customer number here to customer number over here. And we want to enforce referential integrity. And then click create. Alright, so one to many. Alright, then the next one, we want to drag seminar code from seminar table. Notice if you see example in your book, the one is here on this table, and in the seminar offerings that has the many. So, and you know that infinite sign is the many, correct? So we're grabbing from the seminar to the seminar offerings. Enforce referential integrity, so they're going to get along. Hit create, so one to many, one to many. So make sure that yours are done exactly like that, or you'll have a mess later. It'll work now, but it'll be a mess later. So we're going to hit save and close. Excellent. So now all our tables are related to each other, and we're going to create a query on page 340. So the first thing we want to do is click on create, and y'all should have this one down great. Go to query design, and we want to include book rep table, customer table, and that is all. So we're going to close those, expand them so you can see everything. Ooh, those are big tables. Alright, and we're going to, from the book rep table, we will include book rep number, first name, last name, make sure you do them in the right order, And in the customer table, we're going to choose customer number, customer name, street, city, state, postal code, customer type, resources needed, the top one, amount paid, and current due. Then we want to view the query results, so all we're going to do is hit view and not run. And there's our results. Let's resize it so we can see everything neatly. Nice. Scroll through the fields to make sure you included everything. Alright. And then we're going to hit save. And we're going to call it book reps and customers. And then we will close that query. Alright. Now on page 341, we want to create another query. So create query design. And then we're going to click on the seminar table and our seminar offerings table. Then we're going to close that. Make sure you can see all your fields. And then from the seminar offerings, we're going to include customer number and seminar code. And in the seminar table, we are going to include a seminar description. Alright. Now, we want to go to the seminar offerings table, and now we're going to include total hours. So they've mixed the two tables together, and hours spent. Now, we're going to click in the first open column. And we're going to use our builder button so that we can write a formula. So click on the builder button in our expression builder. And honestly, they've also told you to do it a different way. You can click up here. Alright, so both ways works just fine. The right click the way I just showed you, or click on the builder button. Either way. So double click your Bavant Publishing from the Expression Elements section. So right here. And then we want to double click Tables to see the list of tables. Then we want to double click Total Hours field. Oops, sorry. Click Seminar Offerings. Now we can double click Total Hours. And notice that it tells you that it has the Seminar Offerings table. Total Hours field is what shows up here. Now we'll do minus and double click Hours spent. And same thing, seminar offerings is your table, hours spent is the field that you use. And yours should look just like mine or the one in the book. And on page 342 it says to click OK. And notice it shows it here, and we have EXPR1 as the field name right now. And then it says with this selected, you want to go to your property sheet. Make sure that the general tab is selected, and caption property box, that is this one. And if you click in here, type hours remaining. And then we're going to close the property sheet. And then we're going to view our query. And notice here's the hours remaining that we just typed in there. And we're going to resize to make sure everything shows. Excellent. Make sure that your results look the same as what's in the table. Alright. And then hit save. And we're going to name this Seminar Offerings and Seminars. And say OK. My mouse is not cooperating. There we go. And go ahead and close it. Alright. Now, we're going to create a report in Design View. So the first thing we want to do is click on Create. And we want to click on a report. And we want to click on Report Design button. And here's our report in Design View. Notice there is nothing there other than some header sections. Alright. So ensure the selector, you need to make sure that this black button is selected. Alright, make sure that has a black square in it. Then go to your property sheet. So click on property sheet over here in the tools. And this is going to do the properties for the entire report. Notice it says report right there. And we want to drag the left border to increase the width of the property sheet if necessary. And let's see. Then, and if you need to, you can go ahead and grab it left border. Oh, they're saying make this a little wider if you need to. Sometimes it comes up really small, but you don't really have to make it. It's up to you. And then you want to go to the All tab. So that should be selected. Then choose a record source property box, which is that one right here. And we are going to click on the down arrow, not the build. And we're going to choose Book Reps and Customers Query. So Book Reps and Customers Query. Now, if I made it a whole bunch wider, now you can see the whole thing. Alright. And then we're going to close the property sheet. So now all the fields that show up will be the ones from that query. Now we're going to click on the Group and Sort button over here in the Grouping and Totals. Remember we did that from the regular form view. And if you'll look on page 345, it says to click on Add a Group. So Add a Group is down here at the bottom. And then we're going to choose Book Rep Number. So we're going to group it by Book Rep Number. Notice that you have a Book Rep Number header section now. And then we're going to click on Add a Sort, which is down here at the bottom. And we are going to sort by customer number. Alright. So separated or grouped by book reps and sorted by book numbers. Then we're going to save it. We haven't done a whole lot. But when you save it, sometimes, like when you add the title, it'll automatically put the title in for you as whatever you have saved it. So Book Rep Master. And so of course you want to make sure it is done professionally, because it would be nasty to have an ugly title. Then say OK. Notice my tab says Book Rep Master List. And then we're going to go down to the bottom of page 346, and it says to remove this Group Sort and Total pane. So click on your Group and Sort button here. The pane is gone. And then we're going to click on Add Existing Fields. So that's clear over here in the Tools section, Add Existing Fields. So since we already linked it up to our Book Rep table, that's why the Book Rep table is, their field names are the ones that showed up when we did that. Now we're going to grab Book Rep Number field, and we're going to drag it to Book Rep Number header section, and drop it about there. All right. Now, if you'll look on page 147, you'll see where it is there for them. And notice to them it's over a little bit more, so I'm going to scooch it over about to there. But it is in the book rep number header section. And then we want to add in all these other labels. If you look at figure 6-18 at the bottom of page 347, you can see exactly how they want it lined up. And remember, we can use our align tools to arrange everything nicely and neatly. So then we're going to grab over is the customer number field, and it looks like it's dropped at 3 inches, so we'll grab and drag and drop it right about there. Remember that we will make it all pretty and orderly later using our alignment tools or our arrange tools. So next is customer name, street. So I'm going to drop all of these about on 2 inches, and city and state. Mine are kind of wide apart, and postal code. Then on the other side, the right side, we have customer type, and that is dropped on the 5-inch line. Resources needed. Remember to grab by the top one, not the second one. Amount paid. And current due. Alright, now you want to go ahead and align all of these nicely. So the first thing I'm going to do is align. Let's grab the whole thing and make sure it has the same amount of space. So we want to go to arrange and click on the alignment, space, size and space, and we're going to make it equal horizontal. Then we want to make sure that each row, so I'm clicked out to deselect, and we want to make sure that each row is aligned top, so they are together. So arrange, align, top. And the same thing with this next one. Arrange, align, top. Now see how this one's a little crazy for me? So we're going to come down like that, and we got all 4. So align top again. Okay. Same thing with this one. Make sure we have those 4. Align top. And then postal code is all by itself, but we want it to be equally spaced. So we will go back and once again select the whole thing. Let's just do this much and do equal horizontal, and now let's try equal vertical. Let's see how this works. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move it up by hand. Alright, okay, and that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and save this and turn the page, and we want to get rid of our field list. And then on page 348 we're going to change our labels. So the first thing is we want to click on the label for book rep number. So book rep number is here. You click on it once and it selects it, and you click on it again and your cursor is in there. You select the whole thing and type book rep number. Notice it gets a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Then we're supposed to click on the label for customer number. So we'll click on it once to select it, and then click and drag to select the text, And we're going to type customer number. And that one also gets bigger, but we're okay with it. And then turn the page. And we're going to add text boxes. Now, these text boxes aren't like our labels. These text boxes, we will actually be able to type in formulas. So the first thing we want to do is go to our design tab. Alright, now notice this is what people get mixed up, text box and labels. Text box actually creates a label and a control at the same time. So, and you get to type in whatever you want. So in this case, we're going to click on our text box, and in our book rep section, about at 4, we're going to click in there, and notice we have an unbound box, which is our control, and our text 12, which is our label. So, and notice that it's not exactly pretty lined up or anything, so we can go ahead and do that. And we're going to leave our label messy right now. The first thing we want to do is click on the control. Alright, and notice that your cursor is blinking in there, and you will type equal square bracket first name. And remember that since our field names have spaces, that we have to do the bracket so the computer sees it as a single field. And you're going to do a colon once, and a space, and a colon again, and then you'll type the ampersand again, and a square bracket last name with the space. It has to be exactly the same as your existing fields or it won't work, and a square bracket. Now, you could have used the expression builder to do this, where all you had to do is double click it, so that would have worked just fine. So next we're going to click on our text box label, which is that right there, and we are going to call it name. So click on this, click it again to select it, type name, and remember that to move it we have to click on the gray box. So we're going to click out, click on it, grab it by the gray box, and we're going to move it a little bit closer so it looks nicer. Alright, and then you want to turn the page. Looking on page 352, we want to add another text box, and if you'll look down on the picture 625, you'll see that we're going to put it right here. So remember, when you add a text box, it adds a label and a control, so we'll click on that, and we want to add it here, so we're going to click right there, and we're going to click in there, and we will do equal bracket amount space paid bracket plus bracket current due, and close our bracket. Alrighty then, and our label is going to be total amount. And notice how the box resized, that's good. And now we want to go to our view button to see what we've done. And you have just created this, and remember it's grouped by book rep number. So here is book rep number 42, her name, and the first customer number. Here is your second customer number. Alright, and notice that you have alternating colors. There's a big space. You can't see all of your text. You know I will count you wrong for that. So we're going to have to fix this up. Alright, so all of that is number 42's. And as we keep on going down, that's all of book rep number 42. Ah, here we go. Book rep number 65. So there's it's done by sections. Alright, so we want to go to print preview. So if you go to file and print and print preview. You can now see how it looks, and yay. Oh, and let us see more pages. And now you can see them all. See how there's a different record for each page. Alright, and let's go back to the one page, and we're going to close our print preview. Alright, so next we want to format a control. So we want to go back to our design view, so you can come down here or you can click up here. Either way will take you back to design view. And so we want to click on the total amount expression. So that's this one. Another way of saying click on the control. And then we're going to expand our property sheet. And notice that our text right here says text 14. Alright. And what are they going to have us do? Make sure that we're on our All tab, turn the page, and in the Format property box, we want to click on Currency. So Format, click in here, click on the down arrow, and we're going to choose Currency. We also want to make it, instead of auto decimals, we want it to be 2 decimals, so click in there and choose the number 2. And then close your property sheet. And now hit print preview. And we can go to one page, and you can see what that looks like now. So now you have your decimal currency and 2 decimal places. So close your print preview. And now we're going to click on the customer number control. So remember, the control is the white box. And we're going to select all the other controls. So hold your shift key down, and a shortcut you can grab and drag with your arrow, and it selects those controls. And we're going to do the same thing here, and it selects those controls. So next we want to, and make sure it's just in the detail section. Alright, then we want to go to the Arrange tab. So here is our Arrange, and we want to click on Group. So we're in our size and space, and we're going to go down to Group down at the bottom. Alright, now those are all grouped together. Okay, and if you mess up, you can always undo the group. Now we're going to modify our group controls. So first thing we want to do is, if we're off, notice that we click one, it clicks them all. Alright, click one, it clicks them all. That's what's good about having it grouped. So we're going to go to our Format tab in our Report Design Tools section, and since those are all selected, we want them to be bold. And then we're going to turn our page, and then we're going to, in our Design tab, so come back to our Design tab, and we want to resize our Resources Needed field. So we're going to grab our Resources Needed field. That needs to be bigger, and notice it's going to resize everything because they are all selected. So we're dragging this out to almost 7 inches. So we're going to stop about here. And notice that it resized all of the controls. Now we're going to show our property sheet and our All tab, and we want to go to our borders. So here's our border style, and we want to choose solid, and then we want to go to our border width and choose 1 point. Oops. Border width, 1 point. Alright, Then look on page 357. It says double click the resources needed control. So we're going to double click it. Notice that deselects all of the controls, and now you're just adjusting the resources needed, not the entire group. And it wants us to drag the to resize the resources needed only to the size as it is in the book, which is almost at 8. So we're going to grab this and drag this out to almost 8. And your sheet should automatically resize, but if it doesn't, then you can just grab it and resize it for the sheet. So now we're going to click on the label for customer number. So the label, and then we're going to select all the labels. So you're going to hold your shift key down and select all the labels. Alright, and let go of your shift and get on the Format tab in your Report Design Tools, and we're going to choose Italics for our labels. Notice that all the labels changed to italics. Now we want to choose the vertical ruler on the left side of the book rep number header, and what that does, it'll automatically select all of the controls and all of the labels in that section. Then we want to choose Arrange and choose on top. So Align top. Alright, so they're lined up top now. Then we want to go to the Format tab and we want to bold. Alright, then click out and deselect them, and then we want to resize the first name control, this one right here. So first name and last name, and it looks like they're dragging it out to just past 6. Okay, so that you can see the entire thing. And then you can go to Print Preview, see what it looks like. Let's go back to just a one page, and notice now you can see all of your resources needed. You can see the book rep number, book rep's entire first name, and it is bolded. Alright, so now we're going to add a sub report. So let's go back to Design View. I'm going to close my property sheet, and we're going to go to the Design tab in case you don't have the Design tab already. We're going to choose the More button, so click on this down arrow here in your controls. Make sure that your Use Control Wizards is selected. If it has a red square around it, it is already selected. Do not click on it again. If you do, it'll deselect it or turn it off. Alright, so make sure it's on. And we want to use the Subform Sub Report tool. And that one is almost your last one. It's the third from the M. So we click on that. And we want to put it down here to the left of postal code. And they have theirs at a little bit, 2 inches almost. Mine's a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to put it down here. And you can click and let go, and you should automatically go to the sub report wizard. So we want to use existing tables, choose next, and we want to use our query seminar. So right here we're going to click on the down arrow, go down to our query seminar, and we might have to slide for a little bit. Query, seminar, offerings and seminars. So we're going to click on that. Choose add all fields, which is the double arrow. And we've chosen them all now. And then we're going to choose next. And then make sure that choose from list is selected. Then choose next And this should say seminar offerings by customer. So we're going to erase that and call this by customer. Alright, and then we're going to save. Alright, so seminar offerings by customer, and it looks just like this. We want to save. And close the book rep master list. So the X. Alright, and according to the book, it is time for a break. See you back in a second.